We're afraid of what people will think, or we're afraid we're not good enough, or we're afraid we're too much. And so we hold ourselves back. When we do that, we're muting ourselves. And there are too many people that are muting themselves in the world. And I, for so many years, was one of them. I've discovered the power of unmuting myself, of showing up in the world in a way that is joyfully expressed and boldly alive. That's something that has been so important to me as I've discovered how freeing it is to be unmuted, to unmute our body and to unmute our ideas and to unmute our desires, to unmute ourselves in relationships and at work, and to be our own advocates and to ask for what we want and need. The unmuted life is a life that is fully alive and fully expressed and confident and clear. And to me, it's the only way that I know how to live now. I know what it's like to feel confined and stuck and small and silenced. And I also know what it feels like to be expressed and alive and joyful and present and seen. And it's so much better of a life to be unmuted. And that is what I want to bring you into. Are you ready to unmute yourself? Let's make it happen. Hey there, and welcome everybody. Happy Unmuted Monday. So good to have you with us today. I know that David is here. Welcome, David. Michael Ray. So Michael Ray is an example of just a wonderful human being in general. But something that's super cool about Michael is that I got to go to Louisville, Kentucky to speak at a conference in April, and he lives there. And I got to hang out with him and meet him in person, which I feel super blessed to have been able to do. So Michael, shout out to Michael if you're not already following him, make that happen. He was also on this show several months ago. I also want to give a shout out to Chris Hennessy. Chris Hennessy, welcome, welcome. We're going to give you a shout out later today for something cool that I just think people should know about. Carl Sean Watkins, we were on Russ Hedges live stream together a couple of weeks ago. Was it last week? It feels like it was maybe like a month ago, but it was probably last Monday. So Carl, so good to see you again. Rachel McFadden, hey, fellow Rachel, local, love it. Nathan is here. Pearson, welcome. If you're with us, drop in the chat where you're joining us from. I'm in Baltimore, Maryland, East Coast, and super excited. So in addition to the show today, I wanted to just share some updates with you all. And I'm going to sing a little snippet of a song here in a little bit because, we're talking about being unmuted before we get to our guest. But super exciting. My husband and I, we've been in the same house for 9 years, and we bought a new house, and we move in 2 weeks, and we're so excited. Super, super excited. We've got like a pool in the backyard, which I never thought we would have a house with a pool, but there we go. And we're just super stoked. So if you're ever in the Baltimore area, you're going to have to hit me up because it's like a backyard oasis, and I would love to spend time with any of you. So Derek, hey, Derek, good to see you. Met Derek on a live show. Gabe Leal. I think Gabe, you were probably the person whose live show I was on first. So Gabe, Rockstar, Tim Sohn, our producer in the background, making all the magic happen. Zach is always in the chat and so supportive. Yvonne, Michael, hey, Michael. And Ivan is here. Julia, Russ. Hey, Russ, we just gave you a shout out. Amazing. This community is so supportive. This community is just incredibly supportive, and I'm so grateful for it. A couple of things I wanted to kind of bring you up to speed on. So keep dropping in the chat where you're joining us from. And how about a word? How about a word that describes how you're feeling right now? It's a Monday, might be morning, midday, afternoon. If you're watching the replay of this, it might be, I don't know, could be the middle of the night. Who knows? So drop in the chat and a word that describes how you're feeling, a word that describes how you're feeling right now. This is a good way to check in with ourselves because so often, I'm excited if you can't tell. I would pick that as my word. So often we go through a day or a week or a month or a year and we don't even pause at any point to check in with ourselves and to say, like, in this moment, how am I feeling? How am I feeling? Awake. Teresa says, I'm awake. Hey, you know what? That's a good thing to be. Good thing to be awake. Hey, Will. Oh, hello, Will. Oh my gosh, I'm just so excited for everyone. Excited times 10 is my word. Deanne, awesome. Carl. Oh, I didn't know you were so close. Good afternoon, Toby. Yeah, so drop in the chat a word that lets us know how you're feeling right now. A word or an emoji tells us how you're feeling right now, just so we can get a sense of like, how's everybody feeling today? And while you're doing that, there's a little snippet of a song. The song is called Brighter Day by a guy named Blessing Offer. And hello from South Africa. So there's a song that I love, and I'll sing a snippet of it. I haven't really done much like work on it, but it's a four lines that I think we could all benefit from hearing right now. Just a reminder. Just a reminder. It's a song that you're going to want to like check out after we get off the show, because it's been stuck in my head as like, you know, those earworms I talk about, where like you hear a song and you hear it over and over and over again. So I cannot get this out of my head, and it's fine, because I think it's a song that symbolizes hope. So I'm going to sing a little snippet of it for you all today. You ready for it? You drop in ready if you're ready for it. Monday-verless. Is that Monday Marvelous, Zach? I love it. So here we go. I know there's gonna be some brighter days. I swear that love will find you in your pain. I feel it in me like the beating of life in my veins. I know there's gonna be some brighter days. Oh, I know there's gonna be some brighter days. That's my little snippet of singing for you all. I told you I got to sing a little more on this show, right? Okay. So I love that song. It's called Brighter Days by a guy named Blessing Offer. Check it out. Feeling Open. Baltimore's your backyard. Yvonne, that's amazing. So yeah, that song, it's just like a vibe for me right now. I love it. I love it. Feeling open-minded, Cindy says. Welcome. Humored, Toby. Oh, I'm so curious. Tracy's feeling productive. Tracy, feeling productive at the start of a week. Hey, excited for Excel, Teresa. That makes one of you. I bet you help a lot of people get through that and navigate that. Feeling scattered. If you're feeling scattered, this is a great place to be. There's no right answer. You're California, feeling tired. I hear it. Drop my last name. Gabe. I want to be known like Prince or Shakira. Gabe, I appreciate it. Thanks for the explanation. Amazing. All right, love it. So one other quick thing I want to share. Excited. Oh, Angela says excited to start the week. Hey, Angela. Full of possibilities. Wow. Enough. Oh, Carl. We could talk about that for days. Carl and I are going to have a conversation on the show, so that's going to be coming in soon. We just got to get a date. So amazing. Couple things, 2 announcements before I introduce you to our awesome guest today. One is, if you're not already subscribing to my LinkedIn newsletter, unmute yourself. We're going to drop that in the chat. The next issue of this newsletter is going to be about how to stop asking for raises, how to never ask for a raise again, but do something else to help yourself advance financially at work. So if you're up for that, like, you could say I'm in, drop I'm in the chat. If you're like, oh, I would like to know how to do that, I'm going to share with you exactly what I did to grow my bank account, as I spent 13 years in corporate America before I launched my business as an entrepreneur. And so I'm going to be sharing with you exactly how I did that. And it's going to be like spelled out for you, prompts, all that kind of stuff. So if you're not already subscribing to that newsletter, you're going to want to do it. So the link, Tim is going to drop that link in the comments. I think you already did. Yep, there it is. If you see Tim's comment, you can click on that, make sure you're subscribing so you get the updates. And then the last thing I want to share is, and I've shared this on LinkedIn, so many of you have been so supportive. I'm one of the online instructors for Simon Sinek's company. So I teach a class that individuals can come to. So you don't have to like go through your company. You can come as an individual, and it's about it's called Speak Up, Be Your Own Advocate in the Workplace. And so in that class, I share insights with you about the kind of stuff like how to do something other than ask for a raise to advance yourself, how to lean in with your strengths, how to position yourself more effectively to be noticed at work. So that class is tomorrow. The next session of that class, I had one back in May, got another session of that class tomorrow, June 7th in the morning. And so the link to that, if you want to check it out, Tim dropped the link to that in the chat, and you can sign up there and get more information about that class. All right. Sound good? Needed some excitement. Good. Well, we've got it. We've got it. Zach, I was so glad I bought scalped tickets to be here. Oh, I love all of you. This is just the best. Teresa, I'm gonna have to sing more. If you have any song requests, drop those in the chat too, because I keep a list. I for real do. I have a playlist of all the songs that you guys drop in the comments after I do singing videos. So for real. Feeling anxious. Well, hey, that's like a perfect David, we did not plant you in this audience, I can assure you, but that is a perfect segue to the conversation we're going to have today, part of it at least. So without further ado, I want to introduce you all to our guest today. So I met our guest, Jacob Schwer, through Shay Rowbottom. So I've gone through some of their boot camp training with John Palmer and Shay Rowbottom. Shout out to John Palmer and Shay Rowbottom. And I met Jacob through there. And I had connected with him, Jacob. I don't know if you knew this, but I had you'd come onto my radar at some point, sometime before I knew you were part of that community, probably because of all the mutual connections that we have. And there was something that he talked about smiling, and we have a mutual connection to music. I kind of figured that out pretty quickly, and I was like curious. And then we just started pinging back and forth recently, and I was like, I just think the nature of how he shows up with quirkiness, with goofiness, with vulnerability is something that more people need to hear about. And so I was like, dude, you want to be on my show? Because that's how I do this, by the way. People come to me like, I want to be on your show. But like for me, it's like, I'm specifically looking for that kind of situation where I see something that I'm like, that story in that way needs to be told. And so just to give you a little bit of background on Jacob, he says he's a goofy dude and he likes to have fun and cause a little chaos from time to time. Sharing smiles is his favorite. He's married with 3 kids and is super passionate about using social media to express himself, build relationships, and increase the visibility of things that excite me. And he said, most recently, he has joined the Shay Rowbottom Marketing Team as a content coach. So that is like not an easy thing to do. They're very discerning. I mean, I'm sure they have people coming to them, Shay and John, all the time of like, I want to join your team, I want to join your team. And Jacob just, I think, got in there in kind of a cool way. Maybe we can hear the story. But let's just bring on to the stage. Jacob Schwer.
Felt like my Miss America moment.
Just feel it, So good to have you here today.
Thank you for having me on the show.
Oh, dude, it's going to be a great conversation. I'm really excited about it. And I think, I don't generally do a ton of small talk stuff, but I'm curious if there's anything that when you think about this conversation today, like I know David dropped in that word anxious, like right when we were asking people how they were feeling. And it's like, who hasn't felt anxious? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I'm sure there are people like Buddhist monks or something that like maybe feel that way. But I know when we were coming on here, sometimes people look at people in situations like us, right, that are doing this work or putting content online and sharing things. And they probably think like, oh, you just have this thing that I don't. And it's like, oh, no. We still get nervous, right? So I don't know if you want to go into that, like, let's just like cut to it and talk about how even when it comes to like coming on somebody else's show or like having to be on the hot seat, right? Sometimes there's this level of like doubt that can creep in, right? Like, just tell us like honestly, like where you are and what's gone through your head and all that kind of stuff. I just like to normalize these things.
Yeah, I don't know what you just said. So lots of anxiety. It's it comes and goes in waves. But yeah, I still have a little bit of anxiety whenever it comes to like live streams and things. I'm getting a little bit more comfortable, probably through just doing a lot more videos. I'm getting a little bit more comfortable with it. But like I've been also a worship leader for like the past, I want to say 7 years. And even before that, I was on stage. I played drums before I transitioned. And like for forever, I would always get kind of like nervous jitters. And it's not even a big crowd. It's mainly family that's here. But I would still get kind of, anxious and nervous. I think I've finally gotten a lot better in like the past year or so. But, it gives me a little bit of anxiety, especially whenever it comes to like talking. Now I can play music and it's not as big of a deal, but whenever it comes to actually like talking and doing more than just playing music, it's a little bit more challenging. In fact, one time they had me in charge of doing more than I normally do, which was like to get people have like the closing, and getting people to, say, what is it, like the offering part of it and buy or whatnot. I totally forgot the offering part. I was just like, all right, I'll see you guys later. They're like, offering, don't forget the offering. I was like, oh no, oh no. That definitely happened. But yeah, just,
Yeah.
a wee bit of anxiety, probably
Yeah.
just talking in general.
It's normal though, right? It's like, first of all, when do we ever get like trained to do this stuff? Do you know what I mean? It's not like at any point you go through school and you're taught like, hey, let's like, you're gonna have this experience, you're gonna have to speak in front of people, right? And we're not gonna prepare you for it at all, and you're just gonna be good. Like,
We did have a speech class in my high
oh,
school. I failed it. I actually, one of the only classes, like, I completely failed out of it. Like, I think it's like one of those split classes where it's like a like a 2 semester or
uh-huh.
1 semester. Yeah, just like a semester class or whatnot. And I was like, I can't do it. I somehow, I don't know how it happened, but I got out of the class, and I took some other like equivalent credit course class. So yeah, I was like, I can't do that. I can't talk to people. That's not gonna happen.
Yeah. It's a story, right? It's like, and by the way, I just want to take a moment to pause and give some love to, I know people that I know, right? We got
There,
Travis and Maria and Chris and Teresa. Like, oh, Travis, who let these two legends in the same room?
right?
They're
I
just
should say hi to these people. Yeah, all these different people hopping in. I'm not cool enough to be able to like reply to you guys or say anything.
you'll
I'm
reply
I'm a
after.
noob. I'm a noob to the live stream game. I can hop in on a live stream and cause some problems, but I'm like, I can see them and I'm reading them, and in my head I'm replying, but I
Perfect.
but I'm not. So just know that I see it and I'm replying in my head, and it's the thought that counts.
It is. And afterwards, hey, the cool thing about live streaming is that it gets recorded and then it stays online, and then you can go back in afterwards and have a like post-show conversation with people in the comments, you
I'm not
know?
gonna lie, I probably won't, but I'll definitely think about it, guys. I'll definitely think about it. I will intend to do it like I always intend to do things. Use your phone. Come on, Teresa, get out of here.
I love it. Oh, I love it. And hey, you know what? Several people have been saying like, Tim's like, I love your honesty, and Leslie's saying like, if you don't get nervous, right, you're not like, human or something, right? Like that's so true. Like it's a frame. So there's a book called The Upside of Stress by a woman named Kelly McGonigal, who's a professor out of Stanford University. And I share this in a lot of the workshops I do with companies around like mindset and resilience and stuff. And one of the things, I'm with you, Maria. It's a real crowd of people here, like that legit show support. This is not just like checking a box. And so in the book, she talks about reframing stress. And she says, so often we think about where if I'm stressed or anxious, it means I'm weak or inadequate, right? That's a story we tell ourselves, right? Like stress or anxiety must mean, there's a story, weak or anxious, or weak or inadequate, or can't handle it, or incompetent, or subject to judgment. But she says, reframe. Stress is what happens when something that we care about is at stake. Stress is what arises when something we care about is at stake. So we're like, oh, we then reframe it as like, oh, I really care about this. And I want to show up as my best because I care about this, and because I care about all the people that are leaving these comments and that are showing support, right? And it's like, you've already got it. Like whether or not, I love it, Maria, like as if Maria were speaking for me. Jacob,
Right.
you always got this. You're a smart cookie. Like the power of community can do so much to build our confidence. Have you found that to be like, tell us about that, like
True.
experiences where you found the power of community. You've doubted yourself, but community has shown up and it's been like, wow.
It's true. Yeah, I go through waves of different self-doubt and things. It's I'm very much riding the roller coaster with everyone. I didn't expect to have any support at all, like coming on this platform. I started just writing randomly like almost 2 years ago, not quite. And then just random people would show up. I was like, I don't know any of you people, and you're commenting and things. I'm like, oh, this is kind of cool. It's just like one or two comments here or there. I was like, oh, this is cool. And I just kept like sharing, different things. And then all of a sudden, like almost 2 years later, just, I've met lots of different people and had lots of different opportunities just open up just from just really just putting myself out there. Yeah, it's been very incredible, overwhelming even sometimes, and really even undeserving. Like whenever I have a content or something that does really well, I almost feel guilty because I'm like, oh man, I'm like taking up all the feed or whatnot. Like I'm like, because I see people all the time that are just really good and they're really sharing what's on their hearts, and they just don't get as much like engagement and things. And a lot of times it's just because they're finding their momentum and things. But a lot of times I just, part of me feels like guilty, but I think we just maybe don't give ourselves enough credit for what we're doing.
Yeah, I agree. And like that's a normal feeling. Like Nancy says, Nancy Deborah, who's also on the show, shout out Nancy. She said, you're sharing you with us, right? There's nothing more powerful than showing up as you. And so like that's what I think one of the times when people feel like when we feel like someone's trying too hard, like we can all tell when somebody's trying too hard, right? Like you can like kind of sense that. But when someone's just showing up as themselves, when they're honestly and authentically sharing the high points and the hard points, there's something about that is just naturally magnetic when we see somebody showing up in that way. And because it tells us, oh, this is a real person. This isn't somebody that's just like putting on airs and like has it all together and figured it all out. And they're showing you how great they are. Like this is somebody who's like with you. I love. Tell us about this thing that you do with Gary Vaynerchuk. So you post these pictures of yourself making funny faces. I just am. Tell us, please.
Yeah, that got out of hand.
When did that start? Like, where did that come from?
It wasn't that long ago that it really started. I want to say like month and a half, 2 months ago, maybe. Um, I don't really remember the exact reason like that prompted me to do the first one, but I mean, so I know a lot of people follow different influencers and things, and lots of people like to leave comments on their posts because, and half the time they're just, they're kind of seeking attention. I get it. And, but I guess it was just out of boredom, like reading some of the things people say. So I was just like, all right, selfie time. And I was like, hey, Gary. And that was it. I don't remember how many times I did it before it got attention. It seemed like it got attention pretty quickly. Um, and then I think I stopped for maybe like a week and people were concerned. So I continue to throw them in whenever I get a chance and people enjoy it. So I was like, oh, well, as long as people enjoy it, I'll keep doing it. And like I had talked to people, outside of the people that normally like will engage with them, and they're like, yeah, I see them all the time. I was like, well, why don't you click like then? No, I don't care. But yeah, that's kind of how it all just started, and it was a lot of fun. People just started recognizing it, so I just keep doing it. It keeps the people happy. It's a lot of fun, because what happens is I'll either see a post or I'll get a notification that he posts, and I'll be like, all right, time for a selfie. So like 90% of the time, it's just taken right in that moment. Right when I see the post, I'm like, all right, it's time. And I'll just take it there and then just boom, post it in his comments.
I love it. And Travis confirms. He goes, best social strategy in the game. Comment sniping selfies.
It's
Like
it's crazy.
it's so true. And I just want to pause here too and give it a shout out to Brian Schulman's here. What up? Brian Schulman's here. He was also on the show a few months ago. And Tracy's here. Welcome, Tracy. Leslie. So Leslie says something, Jacob, that I think is worth maybe digging into a little bit. She says, you had me at undeserving. Like so often, right? We think that, like, I think a lot of us secretly feel undeserving of things. And it's a worthiness play, right? There's a self-worth aspect associated with that. And maybe there's been something, maybe we got attention for something at a certain point when we were kids and it had a negative outcome. And so we decide that, or maybe we didn't get attention for something. And so we tell ourselves some story about what we are worthy of or what we're not worthy of. And then we carry that, like we never interrupt that. We never question that. We never ask, is that true? Is that true?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I think that happens a lot. Well, because we're always told, to, not to like be prideful or to brag on ourselves. And so we have to, we're almost like trained in a certain way to put other people first,
Mhm.
which is a good thing in a way, sort of. It's good to put other people as high importance, but I feel like you almost have to put yourself first in different situations that you're in,
Mhm.
because if you don't take care of yourself, it's hard to take care of other people.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a give and take thing, but I think that kind of makes us feel guilty because we're receiving, attention,
Mhm.
and other people aren't, and then you just, I don't know, you kind of, I guess, feel bad.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a for sure thing. And I think it affects a lot of us, since we have a tendency to then diminish and downplay the things that we do well, because we're so concerned with appearing like we're a braggart, or like we're full of ourselves, or that we're selfish, right? We have concerns about that. And so we'd rather just like, I'm not really that good, or I
Yeah.
don't do that well. You know what I mean? And when we do that, it's a form of dimming our light. So one of the things I like to share, and I'm going to ask you, and I'm going to ask everyone who's in the comments to drop something in the comments in just a moment. We'll just be verbal, like,
Yeah.
which is probably obvious, but there's a phrase that I like to teach about called, I learned it from Adam Grant, who I love his books. And he has a phrase called, I don't know if he came up with it, but it's how I found out about it: confident humility. So the goal is that we have confidence, we have assurance in what it is that we do well, and we have clarity around that. Like I can say with confidence that like I'm a skilled speaker. Like I don't have to, that's not prideful. That's just like matter of fact, I have the ability to inspire and engage and ignite people to change and action, right? Through speaking. Done. Period. Paragraph. Right. Like I am I have a good voice, right? Like that. I can say these things, right? And it's not me being arrogant. That's just me declaring a fact. Now the humility is, and so the humility side of it is being teachable. So, and I still take voice lessons every Monday because I haven't mastered anything. I'm just open to being a student perpetually. And with my speaking engagements, I ask for feedback after every gig I do because I want to know what worked and what didn't. Like, because I don't think I have arrived. I don't think I ever will. I don't want to ever arrive. How boring. I'm constantly in this iterative process of learning and growing and learning and growing and adapting and getting feedback and modifying and improving and bettering, So I'm curious in the comments if we could get some action about this. I would love to invite you to drop in the comments. This is a moment of without being humble. Without being humble, what is something that you do well? What is a strength that you have? Drop in the comments. What is a strength that you have? Something you do well. Maybe something that someone has praised you for at some point. Maybe something that people tend to thank you for. And yes, Nancy Deborah, hashtag no guilt. Absolutely. So drop in the comments. What is a strength that you have? What is something that you do well? Like unapologetically, because your strength, when you show up with your strength, you shine in a way that illuminates a path or hope or possibilities for other people. Like I know when I get on here and sing, as much as I like would not ever sing growing up in front of human beings, like besides myself, when I get up here and I sing, like I know that's a way that I'm sharing my heart and my soul and my spirit, and it's some way that activates something in people, right? So Jacob, I want to give you, I've been buying time, which you've probably been noticing that. I want to invite you to share what is something that you see as a strength in yourself, or something that you do well.
I'm really, really good looking. And so no,
Ridiculously good looking.
ridiculous. It's ridiculous. I don't want to say anything, but um, no,
I love it.
I was thinking in my head of there's probably a couple different things, but it took me forever probably to get to that point because I always felt like I don't know, 5 years back, whatnot, that I was never really excelled at everything. I was always like in the middle. Like
Mhm.
I'm a bigger person and I'm tall and people expected me to be like good at sports and things. I never was. I was either in the middle or at the bottom. I can like stand by the basket and like help get it in there, but that's about it. But I really struggled with that a lot. I was like, man, I just want like one thing I'm good at. I was like, I can play guitar, but I'm not the best. I can sing, I'm not the best. I think I was focusing too much on like being the best and not
Mm.
just being like something that you're skilled at. Because I mean, comparing like for yourself being a good speaker, comparing yourself to other speakers is just it doesn't do anything. Like it's not really like a competition of being the best, to be able to say that you have something that you're good at.
Mm.
But so, and then all right, another side story. It took, so for singing, people recognized me as, being able to sing well. So yeah, I would say that's, one of the things that I can do well is I can sing well.
Mhm.
I can play guitar decently. And so probably those two things, but it took me forever to really realize that. And I feel like I still continue to realize that. And I remember the moment that I felt like, wow, I may be a good singer. And it was whenever I was at camp, I was a youth, and there was someone I didn't know that turned around like, wow, you're a really good singer. And it kind of like clicked for me. I was like, oh, that's, really nice, because all the times before that, anyone who would say that is, a friend or a family or
Mhm.
whatnot. And I don't know, there's something different about hearing it from a stranger, because they don't really like gain anything from telling you that you're good at something. They're not trying to just make you feel better because they're friends with you or anything. And so I think there's something just, I don't know, powerful about whenever you see strangers or even like a new people
Mhm.
that will comment and things, that gives you like this extra boost of confidence. But back to your question. So I'd have to say singing, playing guitar, and just, I guess, writing a little bit. I've kind of
Mm.
um, known, grown with that,
Mhm.
and felt like, oh, I'm decent at that and whatnot. So I'd probably have to say those few different things. Just
Yeah.
that's probably what I had to go with, I guess. That's my final answer.
I love Is that your final answer? Do you want to phone a friend? Like, no, you're so right. And I love what Toby reinforced about what you said of like, life is not a competition. As much as we find ourselves competing for things, winning or being the best is a fleeting thing, right? Because then like you're the best and then you're like, well, now what? You know what I mean? Like that didn't give me, there's a song by Taryn Wells called Empty. That's that song. His voice, first of all, talk about a
Yeah.
singer. His voice is like so smooth. The song is called Empty by Taryn Wells. If you want to like dig into this conversation, like in another way through music, that song, are you familiar with that song? I'm assuming.
I've heard
Heard
I've
it.
heard of Torn Wells.
Yeah.
But for some reason I can't always put the names to songs to the song like
Yeah.
rhythm and things. So I can't think of it off the top of my head. But I do definitely recognize Torn Wells, and he is
Okay.
incredible.
Yeah. His voice is absolutely amazing. And it's like, it's interesting, we think there's going to be this thing outside of ourselves. So, because to your point, you're like, I've kind of been in the middle. I think that's like most people, right? Of being in that place of like, okay, I'm kind of in the middle, and what does that mean? Because society really seems to reward, it's like the best, right? That's who gets the attention and recognition. And like, absolutely, yeah, Will connect. Yes. And Will's all about connection too. And he's amazing. Team building. These are the skills that people have. Is this what they're dropping in? I just like to sort of go back a second.
Yeah.
Yes. Managing multiple projects. Here we go. So take a pause. I'm just sharing. We asked folks, if you're just joining us, we asked folks to share what is something that you do well. What is a strength that you bring into the world? A great listener. Yes, amazing. Vulnerability is your strength. We know that, Rev. We absolutely building influence. Wow, yeah, because we can't necessarily like make people do stuff, but we can influence, right? So I love that. John also connecting people. Will connecting people. Oh yes, I love this. Toby, I'm defined by my unquestionable creativity. Toby
That's
is
awesome.
super creative. Every time she leaves a comment, I'm like, all right, let me gear up to read this 3
Right.
times so I can thoughtfully respond. It's always something that makes me think. Kindness, Zach, 100% kindness and support. He was the one that commented on your Donkey Kong reference in the
Yeah.
TV show.
Yeah.
So Zach is awesome. Good listener. We've got some good listeners in the group. Teresa says, you know that she can't answer that. Love it. Daniel, let's see. Oh, and Daniel is just calling out your strength. We didn't even ask that question, but Daniel's calling out your strength. The strength that you have is building community of amazing souls. Look at that. And Daniel, shout out to Daniel Hall, intro video to this show. He made that because
That's awesome.
he's so
I love it.
talented. Susanna, welcome. Susanna's working on a book too. Storyteller. Absolutely. Yes. Nancy Deborah, good at making people feel seen, heard, and valued, and radiating real. Yes. Calming personality. Tracy, can we clone you? We need we need more calmness. I love it. Maria, analytical, like really being somebody who's thoughtful. And Maria, you're also so supportive and such a community builder as well.
Maria's, that's her superpower. Just like a super awesome supporter. Like she's just always supporting everybody. It's awesome.
She is. It's incredible. Angela says, I'd love to help. Like the Cliff, is it the Cliff Clavin? This is a reference I should know. Is this a reference that you're familiar with, Jacob? Cliff Clavin of Technical Solutions.
I'm Angela, not very smart. I can't. It's above my head.
Angela, tell us more. Daniel, a tech problem solver, among other things, in addition to like a visionary for creating video and visual things that blow people's minds. That's a talent. I made it up. But it's one that Daniel Hall has. Absolutely. Nathan, being able to overcome problems and be calm in the middle of a tense situation. Yeah, absolutely. Nathan has been supporting me for the past year and a half. With some things here on LinkedIn. And so he's been awesome. Good at being easily distracted. Teresa, who else is good at being easily distracted? Hey, Maria likes to be behind the scenes. Brian, shining a light on others, a strength, voicing your vibe, showing up with what's good Wednesday coming up in 2 days. Yes. So, Maria just flat out, Daniel Hall's a genius. There you go, Daniel. Agreed. If anyone concurs, please drop the chat. Cheers reference. Thank you. I'm like, I know it's a TV show that I probably should know, but don't. Angela, thank you. Tracy says, I like to inspire, elevate. We got some awesome people here today, y'all. Like inspire, elevate, and help people see who they really are. That's a beautiful thing, Tracy. This is just, it's awesome. So, and I'm curious, one of the things I see as a strength of yours, Jacob, and it's something that always stands out to me because it's a way I try to show up. And I know Sean Watkins, this is one of his strengths as well. But the power of vulnerability, like so often we don't share the things that are hard, or we don't share the things that could leave us open to judgment because we're afraid of rejection or judgment or what people are going to think of us. So we only want to share, like we talk about highlight reels, right? People don't share the behind the scenes. They don't share what's on the cutting room floor. They just share what made it onto the big screen. And what I found, and I'd love to hear your thoughts on this, what I found is that when I show up vulnerably, when I share a struggle I've had in my marriage, when I share a struggle I've had in my business, when I share, like after I had my car accident 2 years ago and recovering from a back fracture, that like, today was a hard day, or like, I know I'm supposed to be the positive person, but I'm really not feeling it today. What helps you stay positive when you're feeling down? Like, I know that one of the things, or talking about burnout, being like spending 16 years in the well-being industry where like, you're supposed to have it all together all the time. But then talking about my burnout journey of how like I was anything but well, like people are drawn to people who are willing to be honest about the totality of their lives, right? Yes. Yeah. Sharing the ugly, snotty, unsexy part of living. Exactly, Nancy Deborah. So Jacob, I'd love, and if you want to share something that happened recently, or just even in general, where do you feel like that courage came from for you to start sharing more vulnerable things about yourself and your life, and what were your fears in doing that, and what was the response?
Good question. I don't know. Let's see. I mean, I can't remember the very first time that I was like, all right, I'm just going to throw myself out there. I can remember some specific moments. And the reason that I continue doing it is because it's probably easier to answer. It's because I just know that it helps people. And I know just from you get, some comments and things, which is cool, but you also just get a bunch of like messages and things like saying, hey, like, I feel you there. Like, I know exactly what you're going through, or I can relate, or I've been there before, or I'm currently struggling with it. It's a little bit challenging because because you do get different comments and messages like that, and it hurts your heart a little bit to know that anyone's suffering. And whenever I share those things, I kind of just let it go, and I close my phone or close my computer, and then I can't even look at it because I am just still just letting it out there. And I don't know, there's just something real powerful about just showing everybody what's going on. It's almost like, I mean, I talk to more people online than I probably really do in person. And with people, I mean, even people in our everyday lives, they don't really know what's going on whenever you see them, you know, out in public, or even get-togethers, or even family. You know, you just don't always see all those different things. And so I think it's helpful to just share with people so that they know you just as if they were your best friend. Like, because your best friends, you're going to tell about things that are going on in life that are good, and you know, you're probably going to tell them things that are not going so good, so someone to listen to. And those private conversations really help, but they're just helping those people. So if you just let it out to the world, then you know, thousands of people can potentially see it, and they can be impacted by it, and they can realize, wow, I'm really not alone. Like, I thought maybe someone that was out there that experienced this, but maybe I'm not alone in this. And I mean, these last couple of years, I mean, have been challenging for a lot of different people. And challenges come in different forms and things. And for me, like, I guess some people see social media success, and you know, they're happy for you, but that's just not everything. I mean, even if you have a successful business or whatnot, there's still like struggles that everybody has. So that's kind of like why I shared the most recent post that I had. So, you know, just kind of opening up on the like eviction notice that I had shared the other day that was on our door last week. Because I mean, whenever I got that, I got home on Thursday and I got this notice. Um, uh, it's not something anybody really expects. But I was also like, I was still kind of riding a wave of the great post that I had the day before about exciting news. And it is still exciting news. But sometimes you can have, good things going on with bad things going on. So I was struggling there, and it also helps me just writing just helps me in general. So it's kind of like a twofer. It helps other people, but it also still helps me because I get to get it all jotted down on paper to share with the world. It's a little challenging to share things like that because you kind of feel like you failed. You feel like like you're supposed to take care of your family and whatnot, and you just kind of feel like you messed up, and you could have done better. And even as I was sharing it, and as people were being so kind and to me and sharing with me, I still felt like a failure. I still felt like I messed up, like people are having to bail me out, for making not so great decisions, or just for slacking and whatnot. So I don't remember where I was going with that, but
you ended up exactly where you were supposed to go.
Okay.
I was tracking with you the whole time, for real. I'm not just saying that.
Okay. Yeah.
It takes, first of all, I just want to acknowledge, we could just give some acknowledgement in the comments. It is hard to share the truth about the hard things we go through. It is hard to do that. So if we could just I'm curious, we've been in here for 45 minutes. Can you believe it? We've already been here for 45 minutes.
Right. What?
Like, what? Drop in the comments what has been a gift from today, just perspective wise, even in a word, like a gift or an insight that you've gotten today. And I want to just come in here in the comments too. I know Brian Schulman is dropping some things in here too about, just the why. And I know, similar to Jacob, one of the things that you're passionate about is making people is creating a space where you make people smile, you know, and he's like, you know, his goal is to inspire one person a day. It was a 1.5 pound miracle baby, wasn't supposed to live. A neurological disorder, grow up being weird and different, right? We're talking about unmuting your quirkiness today, right? All of us had that. It's hard to feel weird. It's hard to feel different. It's hard to feel quirky, and wanting to just blend in. And it's like, you just needed to be me, right? And
Yeah, I love embracing the different things, and that's probably one of the things that excites me the most. There was at one point, I think maybe a year ago, I was like, I wonder how like weird I can get, like until people like just start disappearing. And I can tell you, I don't really think there is a limit, because like people will continue to show up because they can relate to that. Because I think so many people have, there's some weird, different aspect about themselves. You think you're kind of alone with some of the weird things. You're like, this is kind of an off the wall thought or something to do, and people can relate to it, and that's what kind of those are my people.
yes.
The weirdos are my people.
Oh, I love it. That could be a shirt, right? The weirdos are my people. Like,
Yeah.
because then somebody who sees you wearing that's going to come up and be like,
Hey.
"Yo, I'm a weirdo. I'm a weirdo too. Like, where's the party?" You know,
Right.
like. And it's true because like so many. When I think about muting ourselves, so many of us we mute the aspects of ourselves that we think other people will not accept. Right.
Yeah.
Because we're like, well, what if I share this thing and nobody cares? Or what if I share this thing and like somebody disconnects from me? Or what, like I heard someone once say, I'm going to botch what they said. And it's something that it's been out in the ether or whatever. But, and I love that. Tracy's a fellow weirdo, and a comedian. Oh, Tracy, yeah. Love it. Appreciate that. But there's something along the lines of like, if we're not showing up loud enough for our people, because we're afraid of being too loud for the people that aren't our people, then we're going to miss the people that we're meant to reach. Like if we're trying to temper ourselves, embrace my inner dork, like dorks unite, Teresa.
Yeah.
But it's true, right?
Let that freak flag fly.
Let that freak flag wave it loud and proud.
Yeah.
Like it's true though. And we're told you get rewarded as a kid. You get rewarded as a kid for like falling in the line. You know what I mean? Like do what's expected. Don't and sometimes that stays with us our whole lives, and other times we're like, I mean, I've had people, I sing in talks I do and stuff, right? We all have what someone needs. Yes, something specific that someone needs that they can't get from somebody else, because nobody else has your Jacob. Nobody else has your set of experiences and insights and perspective or relationships and pains and peaks and valleys. Nobody else has that story. Like nobody else.
Everyone has a story to share. Everyone has a voice and a story to share. And even if we have like parts of our lives that overlap, we all kind of have an individual different path to us that, is worthy of being shared.
Yes, we do. And like just sharing those stories, like Leslie says here, like she was an executive recruiter and then shared the story of how she lost her 20-year-old son to suicide. And said, like, now I have so much love and support because I grieved out loud on LinkedIn. Like, I mean, Leslie, I know we've gone back and forth several times over the past few months. And I can't imagine what that feels like to carry that thing that will never leave you. And I also commend you for using that for something that's going to help other people. And that's what we do, like when we share our stories, right? When you share a story of like, I'm struggling with this, there might be people behind who on the surface look like they're not struggling at all, right, Jacob? But then, or they look like they're killing it on social media. And then you post something and I guarantee that you've gotten messages from people that you're like, oh, I thought you had it together. And then they send you a message that makes you realize, oh, they're in the struggle too, right?
Yeah. And it's not always, like you can see the outward comments from everybody, but it's not always even about or for the people that are always going to be showing up in the comments. It's for the people that are just kind of watching along, and they may have had a struggle that like it may just be very like current for them, and it's helpful, especially like with grief and things, because like my dad died whenever I was 15. And so I was young, and I was like in a new high school too, and it was a tough time because you you don't really know how to process it. It really doesn't even feel real. Whenever it happens, you have this hope that they're just gonna like make it, no matter what any doctors and things say. You have this just hope that everything's gonna work out. And when you go through that, like in a single high school or whatnot, there's not that many people who have gone through that. There may be one or two. So it's really hard to find people that can really relate. They might have similar things, but it's hard to have someone that can really like be like, I've been in this exact situation. And that's the cool thing about the internet, is like all over the world there's someone going through that, or that has been through that. And while I did have a friend who had lost like a sister whenever he was young, and I've had people that could relate in some aspects, but it's just not quite the same. But whenever you can find people who did have those similar situations, it's very powerful to be able to talk to those people, and so that you can like share those experiences, and so that it's just like a deeper level of things. And so that's very helpful and powerful, especially whenever it comes to like grief and things.
Yeah, it's like a share grief. What is the phrase I've heard one time? It was sort of like it's like grief shared is like grief lessened in some ways. Like when we can share the thing and we don't feel like we're the only one carrying it. Again, like shout out, by the way, to Ashley Evans. There's a woman named Ashley Evans that makes these shirts, Ashley Evans, called, and is You Are Not Alone. And it's like, I anticipated that would be relevant to our conversation today, but like, as you know, like we don't script these conversations because I don't like being in a scripted conversation. I like being like a conversation. It's not like when you meet with a friend, like you're going to dinner with a friend. I'm going to ask you these 6 questions in our dinner conversation tonight. Like it's not real life. So I love what Toby says. She says, we need each other because we're each other's world, and we can't understand the world unless we understand each other. For me, life's a journey of discovering the journeys of people around me. Like, great. Thank you, Leslie. That's what it is. Grief shared is grief halved. Thank you. I knew there was a quote in there somewhere and you saved it for me. So thank you.
Yeah.
But absolutely. And I love one of the things that was so cool that happened, just like a waterfall of things that happened. And I'm pointing this out because it's really meaningful. I have a total stranger who funds my crisis text line wristbands every month. Leslie, drop the link to that in the comments. He's such a gift. I hope we can meet someday, but no, he's there cheering me on as part of my tribe. So perfect segue, unknowingly, that when these things happen, like, so Tim, who's our producer, Tim Sohn, shout out Tim Sohn, knew that you were going to be a guest on the show. And I'm not on LinkedIn as actively on the weekends. And he had notified me of Chris's post. Chris and I are connected, Chris Hennessy, of Chris sharing a post about wanting to rally to support you. And I want to call out something here because I think an important distinction is to be made here. When we're in a position of vulnerably asking for help or vulnerably sharing a need that we have, there's this tendency that can be just crippling, demoralizing, that can cause us to go into a place of assuming that people are responding out of pity or that I'm needy. And so people are doing that. That's why they're doing it. I reframed this for a friend of mine, single mom, 2 teenage kids, whose car, like she got in an accident, totaled her car. My car needed a new transmission, but otherwise was like drivable. And I was in the market to get a new car. And I reached out to her and I was like, I want you to have my car. Like, cause I know that given all that's happening, and I'm not saying this to bring attention to what I did, but I'm sharing it is to show her response. And she said, I just feel like I hate being in this position of feeling like I'm asking for things of people. And I don't want people to feel sorry for me. And I don't want people to pity me. And I said, what if you were to reframe? Somebody here needs to hear this today. If you're somebody who has trouble receiving help, I said, what if you were to reframe help, substitute the word help for love? The people are just trying to love you. They're not trying to help you. They want to love you. And that's a way that they can show it. And so what if we just said, oh, this is a waterfall of love that somebody else wants to like invite me to stand under, as opposed to I'm a burden. Like, because we can all feel that way, right? We can all feel like I'm a burden. I'm too much. I'm asking too much. I don't want people to feel sorry for me. I don't want people to think I'm like this to pity me. But the reality is, deep down, there are so many more people that want to make a difference that just don't know how. And when they get an invitation like that, they're like, "Ooh, actionable." Tim, if you want to drop that link in the chat, Chris's post. And Chris is a humble guy, and I know that he didn't do it to get attention. He just did it because he was like,
he seeks attention. That's all he's in it for. Chris always wants the attention. That's what happened. No, Chris is good. Chris is real kind. I know we connected like long time ago. Like I think whenever he was first just getting going on the platform, and he's just always been a real good guy and on a mission. You know, to share his story, to help people. So, like he just has a kind heart. And like, you know, I didn't ask him to set it up. I didn't even ask for anything in the post at all. I really just shared it because I knew it would be relatable was the main takeaway there. So I really was not expecting anything. And he just did that out of the kindness of his heart. And like, I've told people, I was like, you know, you guys are just, you know, either, you know, you're doing too much. And like, the response is always like, no, I want to help, you know, like, and someone else, you know, I was kind of sharing that with, had also told me a little bit about like reframing it, and that like, you know, like that helps them. They want to help, you know, let them help you, even if you maybe don't even really aren't asking or don't really, you know, want it. Like they want to do that. Anybody who did help you or gave or whatnot, they did that out of the kindness of their heart, you know, because they want to, you know, make sure that you're, you know, feeling loved or appreciated and whatnot. So it was very helpful to have that kind of reframe that, you know, people doing those things are not doing it, you know, for any other reason than just to kind of really just show some love.
Yeah. To be kind. Like we have if you watch the news, you would think there are no kind people in the world, but there are, you know, there are good things. There are good people doing kind things to support one another. And, you know, I just think Toby said, I love when people ask me for help because it means they trust me enough to believe I will help them if I can. I need to be needed in life. Don't we all? Like, mic drop moment. Like, yeah, we all need to feel needed. And that's when someone that we like believe in or like or want to see succeed has an ask. When somebody who's constantly giving of themselves has an ask, it's like, where do I sign up? Do you know what I mean? Like that's, and you could not even have ever met somebody. I mean, I have multiple situations of that happen where I was like, I've never like even met this person in person, or like I just met this person, but I just believe in the goodness of their soul. And I believe in, you know, being a steward of what we're given. Like where'd it go? Put that Rev comment back up, Tim. So it takes courage for us to ask for help. And I applaud those who have the courage to do so. God helps us through us helping each other. Like you get to be a sort of like the divine on earth when you show up in a way that pours out love and generosity and kindness on another person. Like what a gift. You know what I mean? So instead of us being like, let's show people by the way that we receive love and support, let's show people like the importance of doing that by the way that we receive, so that other people that receive can feel like I am worthy of this. I may not feel like it, but like I am loved and I am seen and I am supported and I am needed in this world. And there are these people that are just tangibly showing me that. And like, what a gift, right?
I'm too distracted right now by Leslie's comments. I'm like trying to take in what you're putting down, but I'm too distracted by Leslie's comment. She's so funny.
What did Leslie say? Let's pull that back up. Maybe if we can, Enneagram folks.
No, the other one.
I'm a 3, Leslie. What did she say? I love and now have a crush. She said, I love Rachel and now I have a crush on Jacob. Don't tell my husband. Right.
That's funny.
But this is why we do this, right? Like I just had a sense, you can sense certain things about people, right? And like just by the way you show up without having ever had, like we had never had a one-on-one conversation in like verbally before today, like back and forth in chat and stuff. But I just, you know, there's something about the way that you show up with your willingness to be goofy, your willingness to be honest. And being goofy is a form of honesty, by the way. Being quirky is a form of honesty. It's like an unapologetic honesty. And I want to commend you for that and celebrate you for that. And just for you to know how supportive, I'm sure you've seen it today just by like comment from your tribe that showed up today, that you are so needed in this world, and that we're so excited to continue to journey with you to see what unfolds as you keep doing this awesome stuff, putting yourself out there the way you are.
Well, I'm very appreciative of everyone. I couldn't, it's hard to even say it enough. I feel like I'm always behind, I trying to just keep up with everybody. I try my best, and that's really all that we can do. But, I just, I definitely really have a huge appreciation for everybody that ever shows up. So yeah, I thank you, and I appreciate you having me on your show.
Yeah, of course. We'll drop your link to follow you on social. I know he's on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. You can find Jacob on Free the Laugh. Free the Laugh. There you go.
Yeah. All the other places, it's just random nonsense, really.
If you want to see the random nonsense, then yeah, you can follow him on those platforms. Otherwise, LinkedIn for sure. Follow on LinkedIn. Jacob, you're a great writer. You really are. I find that there's a certain cadence and, to the way that you're writing and sharing. And I love it. Brian's like, you are awesome. All caps. Jacob, keep being you and voicing your vibe the way you do. Yes, yes, yes. Takes one to know one of just like somebody showing up in the world with boldness. And Leslie says, check out The Soul of the Helper by Dr. Holly Oxenreider. Thank you for that, Leslie. Awesome show, Chris. We are grateful for you and for the power of community. Thank you for a superhuman job. Do you want to, thank you, superhuman Jacob. There we go. Excellent. You got superhuman. Awesome. Just like, if you're ever having a day, just go in the comments of the show and just like remind yourself of like the truth of how people receive you, which is how they're showing up in these comments and telling you. So good. So good. Well, I want to thank you. I'll send us out. I did this on a show a couple of weeks on Russ's show, but it's a snippet of a song that I know that you know. I won't ask you to sing it. Don't worry. I won't put you on the spot like that. But if you want to lip sync it, that's cool too. But it's a song that reminds us of the power of leaning on each other, because we cannot do this alone. Life alone is way too hard. And when we show up with community the way that Brian and Toby and Leslie and Tracy and Nancy and Tim and Zach and Teresa and Michael. Hey, Michael, I didn't give you a shout out yet. Michael and Chris and Carl and just everybody that's showing up here today with such love, and Travis and Gabe, and with such support and love for you because they believe in you and what you do. So I'll send us out with this, and then we'll let everybody go. So drop in the comments, the name of somebody. If you want, do two things: either drop the words "lean on me" in the comments, or drop the name of somebody who has somebody you're grateful for, somebody on this platform that you're grateful for. You just say grateful for, and then give them a tag, let them know so that they can have that moment of feeling seen and appreciated today. All right. So here we go. Sometimes in our lives, we all have pain. We all have sorrow. But if we are wise, we know that there's always tomorrow. Lean on me when you're not strong, and I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on, for it won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. Just call me brother. Yes, when you need a hand. We all need somebody to lean on. I just might have a problem that you'll understand. We all need somebody to lean on. We all need somebody to lean on. Dude, high fives. Yes, for coming in with that. Woo! Oh, dude, this was like way too much fun. This was just, you were awesome. Jacob, I am super grateful to have done this with you today. You showed up honestly and authentically and with humor and with joy. And just thank you. Thank you for Zach is on his feet for like, he's just so feeling this show today. So I just want to thank you all. Thank you. Grateful for JJ says, thank you for Shay Rowbottom. Yes. Thank you for absolutely. Grateful for Scott. Grateful. Love it. Yeah. Drop it in the comments who you're grateful for. And with that, that is a wrap, friends. Our next show is going to be on June 20th with my stylist. Actually, I have a woman who's a stylist, and she has an incredible story. Just like talk about hard journeys and like stuff and making it through and using something for good. Her name is Stacy. She's awesome. She's going to be here with us on June 20th. And with that, I just want to thank you all so much for being here today. You have been absolutely incredible. Absolutely incredible. So grateful. Jacob, have an awesome rest of the week. Thank you. Thank you
so much.
And
everyone have an awesome week.
Everybody have an awesome week. Thank you for being here with us today. We will see you in 2 weeks, and we'll see you on LinkedIn in the meantime. Bye, everybody.